guys, thanks for joining me. I'm still getting this stream stream deal set fixed up here. How many of you been? How many of you been? You start over here. Start from scratch. How many of you have been in a relationship that ended, but you didn't want it to? Maybe you felt like they were out of your league. Maybe they were better looking, or smarter, or they made more money, or you felt like they had a better personality. Maybe everything about them was just a little bit better than what you felt like you could offer. But for some reason, they fell for you for a little while. When someone doesn't want you and you continue to try harder in hopes they want us back, the harder you try, the less they end up wanting you. If they fell out of love with you, not because you did something wrong, but because they simply lost interest, trying harder is not going to help. Maybe they initially fell for you because they were lonely. Maybe they just got out of a bad relationship, and maybe you were the rebound. Chances are your failed relationship falls into one of these three categories. Number one, you're right. They were way out of your league. If you continue to fight to get them back, they'll feel sorry for you and you can convince them to stay, but you'll never get the best of them. If you're able to whine and complain and guilt them into sticking around, they'll resent you. This isn't love, it's sympathy and weakness. Or number two, maybe you're right. They are way out of your league. You continue to chase them and you try to convince them how much you love them. The more you try, the more distant that they get. By begging, you have sunk to a level that is absolutely unattractive. They distance themselves and they feel worse, and you feel worse about yourself. Number three, you're in a vulnerable position when you started dating and felt like maybe they completed you. For some reason, that feeling went away quicker for them than it did for you. Chances are they were in a compromised position, or the timing just wasn't right. You'll see that person in a grocery store or a shopping mall in a few years, and they'll have put on a few pounds and gained some weight, and you'll realize that you're glad that you didn't get them back. You can't make somebody love you the way that you love them. Don't try to be with someone who you need to change in order to be good enough, or who needs to change you in order for you to be good enough for them. If you need to change who you are in order to get them to love you, it's the wrong person. Stop settling for someone who would be perfect if they would just something. Trying to change people, or stop trying to change someone. Stop trying to change some. And I am all messed up here. I've got some notes. I had a good speech lined out, and still like you to stick around with me here for a second. I've got some good things I'd like to cover. So, um, stop being with somebody, or find someone who doesn't need changing. Seriously, are you looking for a project or a partner? I was in a situation like this when I was younger, and here's how I handled it. I had been dating this girl for a year and a half, and we had decided to save ourselves until marriage. And I wanted to do that to respect not only her, but also respect God, and just be the best man that I could be. And so we had dated for a year and a half. I asked for her father's hand in marriage. She had a kid from a previous marriage that I absolutely loved. This little boy, I was saving up, putting the money aside to put him through college, and I would give my life for that kid. And I found out after we were already engaged that she had been sleeping with one of her coworkers, and it just absolutely broke my heart. I was completely crushed, devastated. We had never had a fight, never argued, just what I thought was a great relationship. And so I took that pretty seriously, pretty hard. And like I said, it just broke my heart. I was trying to figure out what I had done wrong, and I didn't want her back. I wasn't going to take somebody back that had disrespected me and was cheating like that. But really, just crushed me. So I was depressed and sad and stuff for a while. But I spent the next 4 or 5 years, rather than going out and dating and trying to find the next comeback relationship or whatever, I started reading books and listening to podcasts and studying and doing everything that I possibly could to be a better person, so that when the right woman come along, that I actually deserved her. And so here's what I'd recommend you do. If you got somebody that you really want to make them love you, but you just can't seem to, forget about that person and start working to improve yourself, grow spiritually, grow emotionally, start a business, become successful, be the light, become something that others or become someone that others are drawn to, and you'll end up being thankful that person left you. If you can dedicate yourself to self-improvement, because of that loss may have greatly improved your life. You can't make someone love you, but you can learn to love yourself, and you can learn to use that loss because something you'd never. Sorry about that. You can learn that loss to become something you would have never become if you hadn't had that spark of inspiration. Don't let that loss define you. Let it become something that drives you to gain greater happiness and become something that you could have never imagined. Become the best person you can and become the person that God's going to, for the person that God's going to bring in your life. If you guys didn't know, I went through, I survived a malignant brain cancer a few years back. So my memory is absolutely terrible. So I read notes. I've got notes or teleprompter for absolutely everything. So I'm trying to cover notes and just be real with you here. So I'm obviously losing place of a few of my words, but the biggest thing I wanted to share is just love yourself and start. If you're in a position where somebody's not treating you right, maybe they've already left, or maybe they're on the verge, not respecting you, not showing you the love and care that you deserve. Take the time that you need and start studying and start just becoming a better person. Because be sure that you can love yourself. If you start learning and just become somebody that you're happy to be around. One thing that I started doing also, as I started doing every week or two, I'd go out, I'd have a steak dinner, I'd go out, do something, take myself out to a movie, just go learn that it was okay to be alone and be happy and content with the guy that I was becoming. And so I would recommend doing that. Just make sure that you're comfortable in your own skin, and as you become more comfortable with yourself, pretty soon people start flocking to you. And so that's one of the greatest blessings I had, was finding out that lady was cheating on me, because it just really gave me a reason to become a better person myself. So it's been years now, and so now I hope that I can share some of that inspiration, a little bit of that insight with you guys. Um, you don't want to be with someone who doesn't want you back. Stop chasing someone who makes you feel like you're not good enough. You can do better. Go out and work on yourself, and you'll look back in a few years and be glad that you didn't get stuck with someone who had already hit their peak. Don't try to win them back. Try to make yourself better. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate that, and